Hey YouTube, this is The Art of Prepping. Thanks for joining me. It's pitch black out here and it's time to do some flashlight comparisons. Not sure how well you can see this. I'm just using the light off my cell phone here to show you some options that we're going to use. And so I'm just going to basically go through these real quick and just show you what we're comparing these against this new light that I just got that is super awesome. And this is On the Road M3, the M3. And I'm just going to compare this against all these other more common lights. Now the first one here is the 3D Maglite. The old standby with the Krypton bulb. It's not even the LED one. It's the old style. The next one here is going to be something that I use all the time, and it's actually a pretty decent light. A few years ago, I got this at Home Depot. It's a Duracell. It uses, I think it's two or three C batteries. And it's 500 lumen. It goes to a 250 lumen setting, then there's a 500 lumen and a strobe. This next one here is going to be a Element K2, and it uses like several like AAA batteries, I believe, in there. It could be AA, I'm sorry. Maybe it's like 3 AA or something in there. I hardly ever use that one anymore. This is a Rayovac Sportsman. This is 2 AA. I think that's around like 45 lumens. That K2 Element, I think it's around 250 lumens. And then let's jump over here. This is another Rayovac. Actually, I don't mind some of the cheaper Rayovac. I think this one is like, I'm not even sure the lumens. It's one of those non-LED deals that are real cheapy. It's like $1 at Walmart. And then, of course, this one has no specs. This is another little non-LED Harbor Freight special. I just took some Sportsman tape just to wrap it around, but this is one of those little free lights. I think I have about 15 to 20 of them over the years to go into Harbor Freight with the coupon. And so we're going to compare that. And then over here, this is the Streamlight Microstream. This is the 35 lumen version. They do have another one out. The newest generation is 45 lumens, but we're going to compare that. And then this is a Rayovac pen light. It's somewhere probably between 3 to 5 lumens, if I had to guess. I don't remember. I've had it for years. And of course, once again, we're going to try off and on. We'll probably turn this on, the M3, just to see if there's a big difference in some of these lights. I'm going to try to go through these lights all in one time and then turn this one on maybe toward the end and just see what the difference is. And if there's any of them that seem to be close in the brightness, we'll talk about that and maybe do another comparison. But so let's get on with it. Before I begin, though, I just want to try to see if you can even see that there's a little bit of a dot right there. This is the goal that we're actually trying to maintain. It's amazing that this camera's even picking it up. But just off of the light off the camera, you can see that little dot, and that is going to be, I have a pretty good strip actually of very high reflective, it's called Solos reflective tape. It's a safety tape. It's a very, very high-end tape. And I put that out there. That's at the 70-foot mark. So it's exactly 70 feet. I did it twice actually. I pasted off at 70 feet from where I'm standing. And we're kind of in the woods here, off the side on the edge of my property. And so I just wanted to show you that is what we're kind of like going to illuminate this whole area. So without further ado, let's just grab one of the lights here. Let's just start with the big Maglite. And of course, it's just a one mode type deal. And I'm going to go ahead and turn off the light on this camera and see how it goes. I wish I knew how many lumens that the camera light was putting off, or this phone camera light. And so let me go ahead and just turn this one off so we can get more objective. Okay. Okay, so the camera light is now off, and the Maglite, this is the 3D, is on. And you can see this, here we go, I'm going to go in circles here. You can just see if you can see that. And I have it kind of putting out a pretty decent beam here. It's pretty narrow. I have it to focus, so I have it turned off and now turned on. And it doesn't put out a great amount of light, but it definitely is usable though. As you can see, I have it on here. It's usable light, but it's not what you would call an aerial light unless you open up the flood feature, and then you don't get that much throw. So it's a very limited light, let's just be honest. The next one here, of course, is going to be the special I got over there at Home Depot. And This is that energizer. That the first button here is 250 lumens. You can see, at least, from my viewpoint, I can see very well this whole area going back at least 100 to 120 feet, even beyond where the tape is at the 70-foot mark. I'm going to step it up to 500 lumens now, and I'm not sure if that's even really showing that much either on camera. So we may not get a lot of good results from the camera perspective, but I'll just tell you from what I can see, and I'll just bring this light down. Maybe that could be helpful, so you can see what 500 lumens are. And as I walk it out to the 70 foot mark, you can still see a little bit there on the camera. And then when I go behind that tree, which is about 7.5 feet behind that rock, where that tape is reflecting, I think you can start to make that out. Actually, yeah, I can barely see that on this camera screen, and but in the real life here with the visual eye, with my eyes, I can see way behind that tree. I would even dare to say a good 200 to 250 feet easy with this particular light at 500 lumens, no problem. The next one is going to be the Element K2. And so we'll just get this out. I got this many years ago at Sam's Club. Once again, I'll just walk it out to the 70-foot mark. And you can see the reflective tape there. I'll turn it off, turn it on. You can see the reflective tape. And once again, this one actually is pretty decent. Definitely not as powerful at all as the 500 lumen Energizer, even the 250 lumen. I say this is probably between 180 to 200 lumens. At least that's how it looks. And so I can see the tree behind that rock where the tape is, and very well. And so I'll walk it back and go over to our chair with our other lights, and so you can kind of get an idea. Now this is that Sportsman Rayovac. The batteries aren't the newest. They're about maybe they've been used a little bit, so I can't say that they're fresh batteries, but it looks about the same as they are when they're new. And this is about 45 lumens. I'm going to walk it just right underneath the camera here and walk it out. And I'm not sure if you can see, it does illuminate barely that 70-foot mark. But let me tell you, it's not very bright even to my own eyes. But I can see the tape easily light up. This is definitely not a very bright light. But for around the house, it really is a great handy light. And it seems like the freaking thing lasts forever. Now, this is the $1 Rayovac that you can get at Walmart. This is the yellow one we saw. Now this is straight below, and I'm gonna walk it out. I keep on thinking it's somewhere like maybe 18 to 20 some lumens, something like that. I think I did see a spec somewhere. And believe it or not, it lights up that reflective tape pretty well. Not like really bright, but can you see that? Yeah, you can definitely see that. I'll turn it off and turn it back on, and you can see it reflect. Believe it or not, I can see out to the 70-foot mark, not clearly, but I can see basic outlines of trees. I can see up in trees. Here we go up here. I don't know if you can see this, but on my screen, I can't see that that it's registering on the screen. So I'll walk it back up to me. You can see my shoes here. You can see my bright orange shoes. And so for a general task light, for something that's just around the house, in the campsite, especially in the tent, then you can't really go wrong, guys, with this for $1. Now, let's jump over here to this particular light, and this is going to be the Streamlight right here. The Streamlight Microstream. Goodness, I forget the name sometimes. Now this is amazing. And so what it comes down to, guys, is that the candela, it's not sometimes always about the lumens. That's what I've been telling you for a while. The candelas is just so much stronger with this light. This is just a 1 AAA battery, okay? And I have probably like a 30 minutes of already use on this battery. This is not a fresh battery, but it's a good battery. These last for a while. Now at 70 feet, I can clearly see that rock and the tree behind it, which is more than 70 feet. And I'm not sure if you can see it, but I mean, actually it shows up pretty well, at least the reflection of that tape. And with the visual eye though, I mean, it really lights that tape up. I mean, this is a very, very high powered little guy. I mean, look at this. Comparatively, this is so much brighter than a lot of the other flashlights. I mean, you can really make it out. And so once again, this is the Streamlight Microstream. That is very impressive. And let me just go back here and just with my my eyes, and I would have to say I can go out and make out pretty decently the shape of trees behind that 70-foot mark where that rock is. I can go probably another 20 to 25 feet, no joke, and still make out. So that's pretty impressive. That's pretty, to get around 90 feet for this little light. Wow. Let's just close with this before we compare it to the new light, the M3. This is going to be, I believe this is the little Rayovac pin light. So let's just, this is around my shoes right now. I'm going to bring the camera down a little bit more, just so you can see that it does work, and it has a very odd donut halo type of light configuration. Believe it or not, it does reflect. You can barely probably make it off of, I'm moving it back and forth side to side. You can barely see it on the screen, I believe. I can see the tape pretty clearly though, believe it or not, at 70 feet. I can't even believe that, off of, I think, somewhere between 3 to 5 lumens. It's a concentrated lumens, but I will tell you though that it really doesn't give me any kind of confidence in making out things until I can, get around the 10 to 15 feet mark. Yeah, 10 to 15 feet is about all that I would really trust this light for. Once again, this is just a pin light. I think it takes maybe 1 AAA or something. I believe that's what it is. Now, this is the finale. This is the fun part. Okay, so this is my new light. This is On the Road M3. It's actually what it's called, On the Road M3, and it has the side switch. And so let's just go through the different modes. You have to hold it down to activate it. And so let's see here. Okay, here we go. I think it has memory, I believe. That's why it was trying to remember the last mode that I was in. So this is the moonlight mode. I'm not sure how this is picking it up, but it's kind of bright for moonlight. Here, I'll just that's the moonlight. It says like 10 lumens, which is really a lot higher than you would think you would need. And I don't have all of this memorized. I just happen to know that was supposed to be 10 lumens. I totally agree that this is 10 lumens. This actually makes the reflective tape. It does glow with my eyes. I can see it. Now the screen barely picks it up, if any at all. Now let's bump it up to the second level. Let's see if I can find the switch. I just moved it around. Okay. So I'm just getting used to this little light, and okay, I had it kind of awkward in my hand. Now that's the second position. Wow. Now this is ridiculous. This is by far the brightest of any of my flashlights so far, at least in throw and in flood. And it's only on the second bump, and that is really amazing. Really amazing. Let's walk this out and see if you can see that the tape is just glowing like you wouldn't believe. Let's go on the third mode, and boom, third. That's very bright as well. Amazing. Let's go to the fourth. This is the fourth. This is probably supposedly it's like 300 some lumens, but it seems way brighter, way brighter than that. And I'm going to double click it to get the turbo mode. And this is turbo mode. Suppose they're at 920 lumens. It certainly seems like possibly it could be more than that. This is insane. In person, it's throwing some mega light. And you can even see on this not very sensitive camera phone that I have, how it even picks it up all the way out there to 90 feet. And I mean, you can you can go so much more beyond 90 feet with this. That's not even a joke. I don't have a clue how far you could throw this out. The woods are too dense to go too much further than maybe 100 feet behind there. But to the naked eye, let me just try to find a place that actually is a lot further out. And let me see here. Here, let me just walk over here before this. I don't know if this light steps down after a few minutes. I really don't know how all that works at all. But let's just say, okay, there's a clearing there. It's probably about 100 feet roughly, if 110 feet, yeah. And with the naked eye, I mean, it clearly illuminates that. I'd say, guys, without really, actually, hold on, let me just pause this and I'll test it somewhere else. Okay guys, I'm back. I just want to let you know that I've been testing it for additional 2 more minutes on turbo, and I went down to the street, and I mean, it is unbelievable. I didn't measure it physically, but just looking at landmarks that I do know the distance to, it's somewhere between 250 to 270 feet. I'd say that I can make out things very clear. And beyond that, you still illuminate and you can see shapes. So I'd say this light could be useful, maybe even up to as much as 300 just to recognize shapes, and between 2 to 250 feet for really recognizing. This is on a lower setting here, but I would have to tell you though, after about a total use of on camera and off of about 3.5–4 minutes, the thing is starting to get pretty hot. The head of the flashlight is really getting hot, and so that's why I stepped it down. And in fact, I'm just going to go ahead and put it back down to moonlight mode, and let it cool down a little bit. But I just want to let you know that here, I'm going to go to turbo real quick. This is an amazing flashlight. I mean, this is for like less than $25. It beats all these. In fact, you could probably put most of these together and you're not even getting this output. This is just an amazing, it's almost like a miniature searchlight. I mean, it doesn't have extreme throw, so I'm not going to say that it is a searchlight technically, but I'm going to tell you though, this is has so much flood and a perfect balance of throw. There's like no, it's a seamless transition between throw and flood. It has a very large flood arc. It's actually very deceiving. So after this, if you triple tap it, you get strobe. And so I'll bring it down. It's a very aggressive strobe. It jacks with your eyes. If you are on this mode, you can just single tap it. And what happens is this. I don't know how many lumens output, but I can tell you it's freaking ridiculously bright. I think it's the same output on turbo. It must be between 900 to 1,000 of lumens, because this puppy really rocks and rolls. So this is a beacon mode. And let me touch it one more time. You can see what happens. Hopefully I don't blind us all. I can't even see now. It's SOS. And you can see the, there it is. I should probably have done that to begin with instead of blinding us. Sorry. So it does SOS. And then it goes back to strobe. You have to hold down. And that's the cool thing about this. You actually have to hold down to turn off and hold down the button to turn on, so you don't just accidentally turn it on. Let me tell you, this thing is getting very warm just after these few minutes of use. So I'd say this thing is not designed for serious long-term use on these upper modes. I'd say high and turbo probably shouldn't be used more than just a few minutes, just to protect the battery and the light. I'm sure there probably is some kind of thermal protection, at least that's what I was told, but you just don't know. On a flashlight of this cost, you'd hope so, but it wouldn't be surprised if they really don't have it going on. I'm just surprised that you can even get something that's this bright. And once again, I'll put it on turbo one more time. And it's just incredible. I mean, if you're on an extreme budget and you seriously have real money issues and you cannot afford an Olight baton or the S1A or S1R, anything any of the batons, anything that's high end, Nightcore, Olights, 4.7s. Let me tell you, my friends, this is insane. This will probably get the job done. Now, can I tell you this is going to last as long in longevity and have the same quality as those other ones? No, this is not the same quality, but it's not like light years away from that quality. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's pretty much just. Well, at just under $25 for this whole setup, let me just turn this camera light on so I'm not in the dark. Okay. With that being said, at about $25, with the Olight kits for the basic, rechargeable, and they're not even this bright, I don't believe, batons. I think they're around 65 to 75, something like that. And so with that being said, though, it's considerably more, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying it's not worth it to get the name brand, but if you're saving $40 to $45, you can almost buy 2 more. You see, you can, for just a few more dollars down, you can get 2 more of these lights. So you can almost, if you just add a few more dollars to it, you can get 3 of these on the road M3s for the price of one, Olight, it depends on which one you're looking at, baton series. So, and that's not really comparing apples to oranges at all. But I just wanted to kind of point out these differences. Hopefully some of this picks up better on your screen than on my little screen here. Hopefully there's a little bit better sensitivity. But I just wanted to point that out, that in today's technology, getting toward the end of 2016, lights that are just about the size of a CR123 battery, or just a hair larger, literally are outputting monster lights. Much larger lights that just a few years ago were considered, pretty decent. And of course, I didn't bring out some of my higher end stuff. I didn't bring out, higher end Streamlights and stuff, or Surefires and things. That's kind of maybe not a bad idea in the future, but honestly, it's kind of a little bit of a different type of price range. And if you notice, I try to stay pretty much all affordable common lights. And so, yes, there's more exotic lights that I could pull out here and go, oh, look at this 600 or 1,000 lumen light, and it would be pretty considerable, or at least comparable to this light here. But all said and done, though, you have to price them accordingly, and that's what I've been trying to do. So I have to say, if you want this kind of light, they have different variations, different frequencies. If you like a little bit warmer light, or a little bit brighter, whiter, or more blue tint to it, they have that at Going Gear. I'm sorry, not Going Gear, Gear Best. Goodness, sorry. I go there too. Going Gear is a great place too for name brand flashlights. Gear Best is if you want to go with overseas, different competitors. Gear Best is where I got this, sorry. And so they have different sizes too, with different size batteries if you want a little more runtime and you don't mind a little bit more bulk. Of course, it's not that bigger, not that much bigger than the one that the M3, but they have those, and they have all kind of searchlights and so forth. Now, for me personally though, I would rather go ahead and get the actual higher quality searchlights, the name brand, when it comes to that kind of stuff. But they're all expensive, to some degree. My thing is, I would rather have something that's more true and tested for the hardcore use stuff, for like more deep, serious kind of longer term survival homesteading things. So when it comes to the more sophisticated lights, I go with the name brand. But just recently, I've been trying these other off brands, if you even want to call that. I guess they are off brands, and I'm getting really good results. And so for just a rotational light, something I can just put in rotation for my EDC, everyday carry, I have to say that I would recommend this light, even though I will say also that there's nothing wrong with other lights. For example, just pulling this one out, the Streamlight Microstream at 35 lumens, it is amazing. It doesn't seem like 35 lumens. It seems more like, 70 to 80, 90 lumens, just because the candela, once again, the candela is off the chart. And so I highly recommend Streamlight products. I think that if you unless you just have a boatload of money, then, Surefire, is another option. I think we all know that Surefire is an excellent company, but I think that Phoenix is just okay. I don't think I'd probably do business with them again. I have lights. Quite a few. I've done reviews and shown you some of mine, and they're okay. But I'm just saying, though, if I was to do it all over with, the new Streamlights probably has the best bang for the buck. And then if you want just a couple of really inexpensive but very high output lights, like the one I'm just showing you now, on the road, M3, and they have other different variants, that could be maybe other backup lights to kind of round off your kit, especially if you're on an extreme budget. And so hopefully this was helpful. I hope this just gives you a broader idea of what's out there, and that there are affordable lights that can give you lots of options and give you lots of illumination. And so there's no excuse these days, even if you work at McDonald's, and that's not a put down at all. If you are a young person and you're trying to get prepared, there's nothing wrong with getting yourself just whatever type of stream light that you you can afford, for example, and maybe go to GearBest and just see what they have, and maybe experiment with their lights as well. I wouldn't probably trust all of them by any means, but they do have name brands. I think they have Nightcore and a few others, I do believe, if my memory serves correctly. And they have lots of different batteries. They just have a lot of things. And so some of them you have to be a little bit more wary about the claims of output than others. But if you do all your research ahead of time, like I did, I'm not so surprised that On the Road M3, this particular model that I got, was so fascinating. It is. It's just an amazing light that shouldn't probably be as bright as it seemed. Like it's just amazing. And so you guys take care. This video's gone really long, over 25 minutes, into this here. So you guys take care. I'll catch you later.